Nothing in the middle sector of Magnussen is not going well. Meanwhile, with just 10 seconds left to go on the clock, Verstappen finds the fastest times. At risk of elimination, Sargeant, Gasly, Magnussen, Zhou and Albon. Magnussen will not make it through. 17th as he crosses the line.
Didn't put together a good enough lap. Traffic in the final sector. It wasn't a great middle sector either for Magnussen. That's disappointing to compound a difficult day for him. Sargeant up to 12, but there are many drivers improving just behind him.
Tsunoda's at risk as well. He's had an okay lap, but he's currently 15th. He needs to find time. Albon with a mega lap in the Williams to get himself up into 8th. He's just ahead of Hulkenberg, who takes the checkered flag in 9th. Ocon, what a fantastic qualifying from him in this Q1. Up into 8th in the Alpine. They finally hit the minimum weight, having struggled and been overweight since the start of the season. They are through. Tsunoda and Ricciardo are at risk. Tsunoda first across the line. He gets himself clear. Up into 9th. Can Bottas or Ricciardo find any...
Oh, you're Silverback. Hope you're doing well.
Finished 4th in the sprint. Showcase what he's got. Will not make it through into the next part of qualifying. And to compound that, he'll start at the back because he's got a 3-place grid penalty. Ricciardo takes the flag in 17th position.
Zhou's going to be out right at the back of the field as well. He's not improving, so there's only a couple of spots left. Bottas trying to find a bit of time. Gasly we're riding on board with down to the final corner. Hammers the brake pedal, and he's having a really tidy lap as well. Stroll's in 15th and improving. Alonso 13th should be fine. Sargeant 14th is going to be really, really iffy here.
Across the line, Sargeant up into 15th. Stroll goes up to 10th. Gasly gets himself up into 5th. And Alpine found something here. Alonso at risk. He's on the bubble. He might just be okay. Bottas is out. Sargeant is out. Ricciardo is out. So too is Magnussen. Zhou takes the flag. He will not progress either. That is Q1 done and dusted. Out in 16th. Valtteri Bottas in the Sauber. In 17th, Logan Sargeant in the Williams. The RB of Daniel Ricciardo, 18th, will have a 3-place grid penalty. Kevin Magnussen, 19th. Zhou in the other Sauber, 20th and last.
Alonso made it through by 100th of a second. He should be fine. I didn't think it would be that tight. Bottas not quite able to find enough time. Sargeant out.
Oh, damn. So, after getting 4th place in the sprint race, Daniel Ricciardo is out in Q1. That's just, well... oh yeah, of course, Ricciardo's got a 3-place grid penalty, which is why he's down in 18th. So he's actually like... Well, he's actually the 15th fastest, but as for Fernando Alonso, well, he's a lucky man because without Ricciardo's grid penalty, he would have actually gone out of qualifying altogether, but he's in. Very lucky because this weekend, it's got to be said, Stroll has actually had Alonso's number. Of course, the 2 Saubers are out. Yeah, Sauber are really all not up to it right now. Magnussen is out, but then Magnussen's clearly number 2 at Haas, and of course Sargeant's out. Yeah, not good.
Normally has scored, but he got a good ball already, at least earlier on. But that's going to be a long stop from the back of the field. One minute is high, the next minute crashing back down to earth with any Rick.
Yeah, I tell you what though, just coming back to Magnussen, just seen a replay of the traffic he got in the final sector. He's not wrong. He did have about 4 cars in front of him.
There was traffic all over the place. Piastri was racing with Zhou to start the final lap. That's why Zhou didn't get anything on the board right at the end when he needed it. And he was the last of the qualifiers. You can hear is a replay of Daniel Ricciardo fighting at the wheel and wheels spinning out of the final corner. He's got no rear grip. He's absolutely right. It's just so strange that it could be 4th yesterday on the soft tyre, similar conditions, and today trying to go again. Ending up 18th is a real head scratcher for him. And there's the consistency. It's one thing. At least he had the high earlier on.
Do I play F1 Race Manager game? No, I don't. I don't know what it's like, so I can't comment. I'd love someone to tell me what it's like playing that game. Gotta say it. I mean, Daniel Ricciardo was out here saying that he wanted a new chassis due to his current chassis being broken. He got the desired results in the sprint quali and the race itself, but I mean, I really don't know what his excuse has got to be for this one. This really is now squeaky bum time for Daniel Ricciardo. Like, you know, he keeps talking about wanting to go back to Red Bull next year. And yes, thank you, Silverback. Yeah, I mean, I'm really surprised. Like, you know, he looked like he was faster than he's been looking faster than Tsunoda all weekend, but it just seems to be Tsunoda, for whatever reason, seems to always have something in reserve ever since Gasly left RB. As for Alpine, yeah, great qualifying. Well, it's actually a decent qualifying session because, of course, both Ocon and Gasly are through to Q2, which is, I think, the first time both cars have made it to Q2 this year for Team Enstone.
For crossing the pit lane exit. So the stewards are going to be taking a good old look at the Sauber driver after the session. So plenty going on in the stewards room. And I have to say, as we listen to Logan Sargeant's radio.
Are we good? Come on, please tell me we're ready.
We 60.
Oh, what a shame.
Disappointing start for the home hero, of course, Logan Sargeant from Florida, the US. So he was hoping for more, I'm sure, this weekend. The stewards are busy looking at Zhou's behaviour, but also my email box is being flooded by emails from the FIA about Kevin Magnussen. A couple of emails thus far about gaining the advantage by leaving the track. So I'm sure we'll have an update fairly soon as to what the stewards decided when it came to his unsportsmanlike behaviour. Was he unsportsmanlike or wasn't he? I'm sure we'll find out soon.
Thanks, Rosanna, as we get ready for the next part of qualifying. In fact, the green light is already on at the end of the pit lane. No one in a mad rush to get out. Just 15 drivers remain, and this time it'll be everybody from 11th down to 15th who will be out of this session. Julian, worth picking up just from that Q1. Alpine, have they suddenly found something? They got an upgrade, what, in China? Both cars through.
Well, they are reportedly on the weight limit for the first time this year at this race, and they were meant to be, or supposedly, up to 10, 11 kilos overweight at the start of the year. Now, that's worth a good few tenths. And if they've managed to shed weight in a quick move...
Hello there, 12 Zulu 1. I hope you're doing well today, tonight, this morning, wherever you are from in the world. Oh, jokes on Zhou being investigated, is it? Yeah, I don't know. Zulu? Oh yeah. Is Zulu a regular viewer of Chazza HD? I'm not sure if Zulu is someone who watches Chazza's channel a lot, because I'm not sure. My memory's a bit funny because, of course, none of us have been watching Chaz for like pretty much now over a month now, but everyone is welcome to join the channel and watch all my watch-along, since, of course, we don't have Chaz to entertain us all. And, yeah. Oh, you only just found my channel. Okay, thank you very much. Thank you. I appreciate all the attention I get, since, of course, I only do this sort of stuff for fun. And the fact that, of course, I don't have Chaz to distract me with his brilliant commentary. Always on the bubble, always on the dot with what he says. And the fact I always agree with what he says, which is also a crucial factor in why I used to watch his content all the time. Of course, if you're wondering, for those of you wondering what's going on with Chaz, he's busy with university. He doesn't really have time to be doing YouTube watch-alongs. And I think he'll tell us when he's available again. Oh, yeah, thank you for the compliment there, Silverback. I think it's safe to say most of my F1 knowledge mostly goes all the way back to about 2001. I also have a fairly decent knowledge of 1990s F1, even though I wasn't watching F1 back then. Although I will say though, when you go back to like, I don't know, before 1985, I think that's when my knowledge starts to really drop off. But then it's not like there's many fans who were watching F1 who are watching then or really watching F1 now. Of course, how can I forget? Yes, this weekend, the 30th anniversary of the tragic death of Ayrton Senna and Roland Ratzenberger has just gone past. Rest in peace to both of them. Both of them were killed at the age of just 33 and 34 years old, respectively, at the Imola racetrack at Italy. Of course, back then, it used to be called the San Marino Grand Prix. Of course, I think the Romeo Grand Prix will be on in about 2 weeks' time. So yeah, I'm sure there'll be tributes being done at that racetrack, since of course that is the place where both of them were tragically deleted in front of worldwide TV. And I myself might well do who is out in Q1? Logan Sargeant of Williams. Daniel Ricciardo of RB, Kevin Magnussen of Haas, and the two Saubers of Zhou and Bottas, who I've said it before and I'll say it again, those two drivers, I really cannot see either of them being in F1 next season. Ricciardo, Sargeant, Bottas, Zhou, and Magnussen went out in Q1. But of course, if you're wondering who did go through to Q1, for the first time this year, Alpine managed to get both Ocon and Gasly together into Q2. Due to, of course, both the team struggling with a weight limit issue due to the fact that their front section failed a crash test. So they had to use like an older, bulkier front section crash cell in order to pass the crash test, which of course has compromised their speed and weight, which is not ideal in Formula 1 because, I mean, 10 kilograms can cost you about up to 3/10 a second a lap, which is an awful lot of time to be giving away at this level. And especially with these cost cap regulation where the field has tightened up, that is seriously bad.
The big points on offer for the Grand Prix on Sunday. Verstappen then just negotiating a little bit of traffic in the form of the Williams of Alex Albon as he makes his way up through the slow chicane of 14 and 15 and now finds himself on
I got that. Okay, don't worry.
back straight. DRS will get activated.
I'm going to do a poll.
Will open up before he slams on the brake and it shuts under that braking. It's okay, so good lap so far from Verstappen, but now that Norris is finding more time in the middle sector. Perez going quickly as well on.
Who will qualify second? I'm going to put some options up.
1:27.972.
So he's lost a little bit of pace compared to what he did in Q1. Norris didn't do a great first sector, but he does a very good middle and the best of all in the final sector. He goes to the top of the times. Just behind him is his teammate, and Oscar Piastri now goes ahead.
Piastri to the top of the time.
Oh, you have Sky Sports. Oh, you have Sky Sports. Yeah, I don't have Sky Sports, I'm afraid.
Everybody from 11th down to 15 will be eliminated. Leclerc in the Ferrari is flying on his first.
And a lot of people already are hedging their bets on Sainz and Perez to get through to Q2. Oscar Piastri in P1, that is amazing.
The big names we've already lost. Daniel Ricciardo, who finished the sprint race earlier today in 4th, out in 18th. The second part.
Of course, Oscar Piastri can blow on cold, I'll say that. Although, of course, Norris really was quite lucky in the first corner in the sprint race today when he collided with Lance Stroll, who, as always, is just, Lance Stroll, not a reliable driver. Sainz has got P4. Sorry. Gasly is in 9th place. Alonso really is struggling this weekend. I have no idea what's going on with him.
Hamilton down to 12th position after those first laps.
Oh yeah, I dropped my phone, sorry. Yeah, Hamilton down in 12th. Hamilton is having an absolute nightmare yet again this weekend. Once again, Hamilton is having a... Oh.
Just didn't hook it up in the first part. Leclerc's lap is the best lap of the weekend so far. So Charles Leclerc is finding a good chunk of time. Verstappen didn't maximise what he just did there. There's still more in there, but Andrew, I think you're...
My, Gasly is in P9. I wonder if he can hold on. I wonder if he can hold on.
on used tyres and the others are on new tyres.
Yellow flag, third sector. Oh, what? Oh, someone might be losing their lap time then. Lando has stopped to the track.
It was for Alex Albon, who ran deep coming through the final corner. It was actually turn 17, which feeds into 18. Here's what he has to say.
Just absolutely destroyed. I can't get up to the last more than 6 corners.
Albon then destroying his set soft tyres, struggling to make them last. At the moment, he is 15th and last. Hasn't been able to get a proper lap time on the board. Will need to go again. At risk of elimination. Yeah, Gasly is 10th on the bubble, just in front of his teammate.
110 stalls for Lando Norris at McLaren. Blimey, I mean, what was it? Lando started his career back in 2019 and my God, in just 5 years he's already clocked up 110 stalls. Blimey, like, I've got to say this, but a lot of drivers on this current grid will easily be making like 150 odd career starts. I mean, Lance Stroll, the way he's going, could easily be a member of the 200 start club very soon because, of course, we all know that kid is a poster child for job security. And would you look at that? Charles, Oscar, Lando, Carlos, Max, Hulk, Yuki, Perez, Russell, Gasly. I mean, Gasly finished, what was it? Gasly finished P9 in a sprint race, if I can recall. Yeah. Nearly scored Alpine's first point of the season in a sprint. Oh, and you'll be my Roxford. Yeah, cheers, Silverback. I think a lot of help could go a long way. Let's hope Hamilton doesn't do what he did in SQ2. What? Completely mess up his last lap. Well, and according to the poll, with just 3 votes, only no one has voted for Norris. I mean, Albon looks like he's going out of qualifying, which is pretty much expected because I think Williams have got one of the worst cars on the grid. Aston Martin are really struggling this weekend, properly struggling. What else? Hamilton is just struggling, as I said. He got what was it? A time penalty for speeding in the pit lane in the race. Alonso, Ocon could be going out, but of course Ocon as it stands, I think it's pretty high up the order, so it's not like, if he qualifies P12, I think that's pretty good. It's a trade in the pit lane, yeah. It's bound to be, mate. It's the last few minutes of Q2 now.
One flying lap for each of the drivers left to put their place into Q3.
We were talking yesterday about how we would quite like the idea of one-shot qualifying. Well, it's almost turning into a little bit of that. The track evolving with every single lap. Some struggling to keep the tyres in check all the way through 5.4 kilometres that make up the Miami International Autodrome. Just over 2.5 minutes remaining then, and now it is crunch time for those who are further down the order. Russell is in 9th, Gasly is in 10th, And then in that elimination zone, the other Alpine of Ocon, Lewis Hamilton in 12th, Lance Stroll, Fernando Alonso, the two Aston Martins, and Alex Albon, the Williams, who hasn't done a proper competitive lap time yet, needs to get one on the board and haul himself up the order if he can.
Aston Martin on the limit there.
Yeah, copy.
Charles Leclerc on the radio referring to the Aston Martin being released into the path of his Ferrari in the pit lane. Well, there's had a few skirmishes in the pit lane so far today.
That was a nothing. I don't think the stewards, they've had plenty to deal with Kevin Magnussen earlier on. I don't think they're going to trouble themselves with that one as the Aston Martin was released ahead. So pressure on Perez, also in 8th, who, like Verstappen, has just run a used tyre so far. That's left him with a little bit of work to do. Needs to get a clean lap. He cannot afford a mistake or to trip over someone with a yellow flag as well. Perez 8th, Russell 9th, under pressure. Gasly at the moment has done a great job in 10th. If he can stay there, that'll be superb from him. And then those behind need to find a bit of pace, and not a huge amount to shuffle their way into the top 10.
Fernando Alonso on his flyer at the moment. Little bit of traffic in front of him as he completes sector 1 and makes his way down through towards turn 9, and turn 10 starts to snake slightly to the left, taken flat out in these Formula 1 cars around this semi-permanent street circuit.
Oh yeah, Rob. Nico Hulkenberg is the leader for most starts of our podium. Yeah, I think he had that record of why the back go now. I think who was the leader for that record? I think it was previously record holder, was it? It must have been someone like Adrian Sutil. I think he's had that record for at least 3 or 4 years now. It's nothing new, but it really is one of those things, isn't it, with Nico Hulkenberg? Very quick driver, but he can't get the job done when the podium position was on the cards. Yeah, Formula 1.5, yeah, no one takes notice of that, mate.
Crosses the line, and he will not make it through into Q3. Alonso takes the line, 13th fastest. What can his teammate do? Lance Stroll following round into the final sector now. Stroll in the sister Aston Martin does get through into Q3. It's roles reversed now, and Aston Martin. Stroll up into 9th.
Hamilton finding pace. Hamilton with a really decent lap so far. Here is the brick, the 7-time chap driving towards the line. He's down in 13th. He's got to put it together. Wow, up to 2nd place.
What a lap from Lewis Hamilton in the closing stages of qualifying. Who's on the bubble now? Stroll gets put down to 10th. Russell is down in 11th at the moment. So is Gasly. Ocon. Alonso won't get another go. Albon down in 15th. Russell does improve. Gets himself up into 8th. We look to the two Alpines. Been going well so far. Not great lap for Gasly. He's struggling on this lap. Ocon not great in the first sector. Better in the middle sector. Albon really only getting this one flyer to find himself up the order. Can he do it across the line for Ocon first? It's 13th only for the Frenchman behind his teammates. This the sound though of Alex Albon in the Williams.
The Williams has been good in the final sector. He's 10.5 down on Nico Hulkenberg, who is through and in 10th position on the bubble right now for a place in Q3. Albon 15th. He's got to find a little bit of time. He's got to find a lot in essentially one corner of the final sector. Here he comes through the left, flashes through the right, opens the DRS.
Albon to the line. It's only enough for 14th. He pips Fernando Alonso. Gasly took the line as well. 12th fastest for him behind Stroll. Hulkenberg just makes it through up into Q3 in 10th. Hulkenberg continues his run of form of getting into 11 Q3 since the beginning of last season. Out then in
That is Hulkenberg's 11th Q3 since the start of 2023. What a driver Hulkenberg is.
the Williams of Alex Albon in 14th. Fernando Alonso in the Aston Martin 15th.
So it looks like both Alpines of Gasly and Ocon are out. Albon in the Williams is out. And both Aston Martins are out. A terrible weekend so far for the Aston Martin boys, since of course Alonso also failed to score points in the sprint race. Really not good. Really is a worrying weekend for the Aston Martin team. And of course, yes, you are correct, Zulu. Tsunoda and Hulkenberg getting the job done once again. Fantastic qualifying by those two drivers. Hulkenberg obviously has a seat at Audi next season, a well-deserved achievement. As for Tsunoda, if Papa Stroll really wants to be serious, like, and with Honda engines coming in 26, like, I think it might be a good idea to sign Tsunoda up, Papa Stroll, because the kid's kind of good. I think the kid's got talent. And look at that. My poll is telling me that Carlos Sainz is looking good for P2. Although, of course, for those of you new to Formula One, all the lap times set in both Q1 and Q2 will be wiped out, and all the drivers in Q3 will go again. And thank you very much, George's Funhouse, for subscribing. Of course, all the lap times in Q1 and Q2 are wiped out, and all the drivers will now attempt to go for pole position in Q3 with 10 drivers remaining. Both Ferraris of Sainz and Leclerc are in. Both McLarens of Norris and Piastri are through. Both Mercedes of Hamilton and Russell are through. Both Red Bulls of Verstappen and Perez are through. And of course, the Haas of Hulkenberg and the RB of Yuki Tsunoda are through to Q3. But you never know. Yuki could do what Daniel did in SQ3. Yes, indeed. Just so you know, I was just listing the name of the drivers that had qualified for Q3. I wasn't like making any predictions of who I think will qualify first, second, and third, or that. If you ask me who I think is getting pole position, I obviously think it's going to be none other than Maximus Verstappen, but yes, on street race or no on street race. Well, I think anyone who has ever listened to my read my comments on Chaz's channel will know that I'm not really a fan of street tracks, to be honest. I mean, a lot of these street tracks are there to generate revenue for Liberty Media. They're not there for the sake of, like, helping. They're not really there. Like, they're not particularly great racetracks due to the amount of concrete walls they tend to be lined up with. Like, if I was to pick another racetrack to go to in America, like, I would rather go to somewhere like the Elkhart Lake track at Road America. Like, I'd rather go there because, you know, it's kind of like the American Spa-Francorchamps, 4 miles long, super long straights, a lot of fast, demanding corners. But, of course, because Elkhart Lake is like, I don't know, FIA certificate, C-tier track in terms of safety. Yeah, F1 can't really go there. Laguna Seca is a bit too narrow and a bit too twisty for my liking. Like, I know it's kind of really more of a. I mean, I know MotoGP's been there many times, but a lot of the riders there say that it's not really safe enough for them. Even though, of course, there's a lot of gravel traps there. Watkins Glen is a bit. I'm not really sure, to be honest, because I think it's been resurfaced. It's sort of like kind of a bit too fast for Formula 1 nowadays with how quick the cars are. I think Watkins Glen would have to have like an insane amount of money to have it revamped for an F1 race. And to be honest, I don't think it's even worth like dramatically changing Watkins Glen because I think it would ruin the character of the track. And I think they would probably like really horribly tighten up a lot of the fast corners, which would make it quite boring for the other racing series that visit Watkins Glen, like NASCAR and IndyCar and all that. Monaco is bare when the cars are smaller. Absolutely agreed. I mean, you just can't overtake at Monaco anymore. It's nigh on impossible. Heck, you can barely overtake a track like Singapore with the 2-meter wide cars. So, Regara, great to see you, mate. Still believe the winner should get 22 points. Taylor Swift and Christmas supporters. All right, say, okay, mate. All right, mate. Well, I know we've had this argument about the point system and whether it should go down to the top 12th place, which I just think is stupid, really, because, you know, if you're going to be giving out points to 12th place, I mean, before you know it, you know, Logan Sargeant will probably be scoring quite a lot of points soon, which is kind of stupid in my eyes. Baku, in my opinion, is underrated. It's a pretty great place to be racing at. I suppose it's sort of decent, but it's decent when someone makes a mistake and there's a load of cars hitting each other. Like, the only reason why we get decent races as Baku is because when you bunch all the cars up after a safety car restart, then you get a lot of cars slipstreaming each other. And yes, indeed, Q3 has started. I'm going to switch the screen in about a couple of minutes' time when someone sets a lap time. Currently, Lando Norris is the only driver on track, so yeah, I think the first 2 or 3 minutes is just going to be a few cars going around on the track trying to scrub their rubber in before, of course, they go for their proper flying lap. Yeah, Lando Norris has got a lot to prove in my eyes, you know. Bottled his attempt of getting from pole position in sprint quali yesterday. And of course, realistically, you could say it really should have been P2 at the very minimum. Leclerc did a pretty good job in the sprint race, I have to say, finishing P2. Away from this, Madrid have won La Liga. Yes, congratulations to them. Well, yeah, well, I mean, they are pretty much kings of Spain as always. It's not, nothing changes there. And, of course, that's, yeah, they're probably going to be kings of Europe again as well. But and, yeah, apologies for that, Zulu. I got a bit carried away there. And, of course, Q3 is underway. Lando is... What do you mean? Lando has a problem? Like, if you take Max out of Formula 1, look at the series, it's very competitive. Oh, Lando is not the problem. Okay, I get what you mean. And yes, apologies, Zulu. I got carried away talking to my friend Zay Regara because, of course, we do tend to talk to football a lot towards each other on other channels. What was I going to say now? I will say, if Max Verstappen was not in Formula 1, like, we would be having... Last season would have been an epic fight for the championship. Heck, 2022 would have been a classic. But you got to give credit where credit is due. Max Verstappen just keeps getting the job done every single time. The guy is literally like a machine. Of course, yes, we could also talk about whether Max Verstappen is secretly a victim of childhood abuse by his dad, Jos, who, I mean, stories about Jos leaving him at petrol stations and making him walk home by himself. Not nice to hear about, but, you know, Max Verstappen is a robot. Hello there, Roxford. How are you? Great to see you here.
Hulkenberg, a 1:29.1 on his opening gambit in the Haas, the German into Q3 once again.
I had my brother's pepper spray, but we went to England to spend time with our grandparents. Oh, okay, that's really sad to hear about.
Quicker than Verstappen through the first sector on lap 1. Here is the Dutchman now driving towards the line, fastest in the middle sector, aiming to get ahead of his teammate who's done a pretty solid lap in the first Red Bull to come across the line. 27.7 for Perez, but there's more in there for Verstappen.
Perez fastest so far, 3/10 between him and Russell, but his teammate fastest of anybody in the middle sector. Around the final corner, takes that provisional pole position by half. a second. Verstappen, Perez, Russell, Hamilton, Hulkenberg, the top five as we wait that time from the two McLarens. Norris on that medium compound tyre goes third fastest ahead of the Mercedes. But what about the Ferraris? Leclerc fastest of anybody in the first sector, second fastest at the end of his lap.
Carlos Sainz up to third in the other Ferrari. So Verstappen with Leclerc a tenth and a half down. Sainz 2/10 down on the world champion in first position. Then it's half a second in the end back to Sergio Perez, who's left plenty on the table. And in fact, Piastri now gets up to fourth.
Oh, Hamilton on the radio saying he has no grip. He's down in 8 behind his teammate Perez, actually fastest of anybody in the final 2 sectors. Leclerc has the fastest first sector, so it's not going well for Perez in the first sector. He ended his lap in 5th. It's Verstappen, Leclerc, Sainz, Piastri, Perez, the top 5, Norris, Russell, Hamilton, who's down in 8th. Then it's Hulkenberg and Tsunoda, who rounds out the top 10.
Yeah, McLaren have lost plenty of pace then, haven't they? Norris 6th on the medium tyre. Is he going to switch now to a soft and just try and work out how to drive what must be the quicker tyre? He was the only driver on the mediums in that one. 6th position. It's not terrible from there. Half a second away. In theory, you'd put on a set of softs and get quite close to the action. But can McLaren get their head around how to do that? Piastri in the other car has done a solid job up in 4th.
Max Verstappen seeking a 7th consecutive pole position with 5 minutes and 50 seconds remaining. It's Verstappen, Leclerc, Sainz, Piastri, Perez. That's the order at the moment. Norris, who's struggling with pace now, down in 6th. Russell and Hamilton, the 2 Mercedes, languish behind in 7th and 8th. Nico Hulkenberg on his opening gambit was 9th. Tsunoda will need another run. On that first run, he's in the 1:30, so I'm assuming he made a mistake somewhere along the line. 4.5 seconds adrift at the back. So Tsunoda, we should see again trying to fight with mainly Nico Hulkenberg. A really intense fight between those 2 teams at the moment. Haas and RB fighting it out for 6th and 7th.
So, oh wow, Sainz and Hulkenberg under investigation. Yeah, of course it is. Perez is down in P5 by the looks of it. Once again, Perez is struggling. Really struggling. I mean, every time people sit there and say he's doing well, there's always a moment that he suddenly drops off a bit. Oscar getting the better of Lando, yeah, that's not going to be good for Lando Norris's confidence, because we all know Lando Norris is a massive confidence type of driver. Russell and Hamilton are pretty much doing whatever the hell they can in that Mercedes. That Mercedes, well, both of them went out in sprint Q2 yesterday. I mean, I know Russell did manage to score points in the sprint, but of course Lewis Hamilton had a time penalty for speeding in the pit lane. Max, fastest as always, like, nothing to say there. He always seems to do well, no matter whatever sort of problem is going on at Red Bull. You know, whether his team boss, Christian Horner, is under investigation for inappropriate behaviour towards a female colleague, whether it's news about Adrian Newey leaving the team at the end of this season, or whether, you know, Herbert Marco is behaving like an absolute turnip again. Max Verstappen is always on pole position, and he's always heading for race victories. And I think we've had Bahrain, we've had Saudi Arabia, we've had Australia, we've had Japan, we've had China. This is the 6th race of the season. And by the looks of it, it's going to be 6 poles out of 6 possible pole positions for Max Verstappen so far this season. I don't know whether what Nigel Mansell did in 1992, where he picked up something like 14 out of 16 pole positions that season. But if Max Verstappen continues like this, he could be breaking more records this year. Whose that fault was it for the contact and the crash at turn 1 in the sprint? Well, apparently Norris and Stroll collided. Apparently, I don't think either driver got a penalty for that crash. I think they just put it down as a race incident, to be honest. I know some people might argue about who did what, but to be honest, you know, I mean, Stroll, as we all know, is very aggressive in his placement of his car in racing incidents, and as Norris is occasionally liable to doing a few things stupid, but I mean, yeah, I apologise. Yeah, I mean, I was watching a bit of the football earlier on, and of course, I don't think any British team radio channels did a commentary on it because they've just got so much stuff to commentate on. And I think after I do qualifying, I think I will do a watch along of the sprint race itself, so I can do say a few things about some of the drivers once I end this stream and do another stream, if you get what I mean.
In Q3. So it's amazing how he can do one belter of a lap in Q2 and then they're completely lost when they put on another set of tyres and go again. It's very, very strange.
A minute and a half left of qualifying for the Miami Grand Prix. Will it be Max Verstappen who will take his first pole position here in Miami, or could Charles Leclerc, could a Ferrari challenge? We'll find out in just over a minute's time. Outlaps being completed at the moment. Oscar Piastri embarking on his final flying attempt. So too does Sergio Perez. Everybody on that soft compound tyre, but with the exception of the two Mercedes of Russell and Hamilton.
So Verstappen will be the first of the main contenders to start a flying lap. He crosses the line now and launches into one. Then it's going to be Norris. Then it'll be Leclerc.
Oh, right. So, yeah, like I said, it was a racing incident. I think, what's that? What Lewis Hamilton got a penalty for? The first corner incident? I don't know, but I'm going to have to do a watch along of the sprint race because, of course, I've not even got around to watching the highlights.
Hamilton coming towards the end of his outlap, so we'll see what he's got. He'll get one final fly.
Oh, yeah, it was Hamilton speeding in the pit lane, yeah. Thank you, Roxford.
Give Lewis the hurry up. That's the message from George Russell, who is just about to start his flying lap.
Yeah, outlap chatter from the Mercedes. Verstappen's the fastest man in the first sector. He is a 1/10 quicker than Charles Leclerc, who is not finding time so far through the first sector. Perez is right in the mix here with two clean sectors.
Piastri first to take the flag. He won't be able to improve. He stays fourth fastest. How much can he hold on to that? Verstappen losing a little bit of time compared to himself in the middle sector. Perez will get up to fourth just in front of Piastri, but he cannot find the time as Leclerc bounces over the curbs through turns 14 and 15. The two Ferraris not finding the time they need to challenge Max Verstappen.
Plenty of drivers struggling to find too much. Lando Norris is finding a little bit on his set of softs. Verstappen's through and doesn't improve. Sainz is not improving. Leclerc's not improving. It might be just down to Lando Norris.
Lando Norris will only have a few metres left. Can he find the time? No, he can't. Lando Norris in the McLaren, fifth fastest, just in front of his teammate Piastri. Lewis Hamilton currently down in 10th. Remember, the Mercedes are using the medium compound of tyre, and Hamilton, personal best in the middle sector. Coming into the final sector now, Sainz will cross the line first. He can't improve either. No one is finding time that they need. Russell not finding the time he needs either, but he's up in 7th. Russell is 7th, Hulkenberg 8th, Tsunoda 9th. Can Hamilton lift himself up from 10th? Yes, he can, but it's only enough for 8th fastest at the end of qualifying for the Miami Grand Prix. Russell finds a little bit of time in the final sector, but he stays 7th fastest. Verstappen will start the Miami Grand Prix from pole position. Alongside him will be the Ferrari of Charles Leclerc, Carlos Sainz third, Perez, Norris the top 5, Piastri, Russell, Hamilton, Hulkenberg and Tsunoda the top 10.
Well, we never doubted it. Verstappen top, of course. Two Ferraris, second and third, at least splitting the Red Bulls for the race tomorrow. That was a bit of an anticlimax at the end of that qualifying.
That is, yeah, not position, Max.
Well, quite tricky, I guess. Just get the ties to work and hold up. Good start again.
Very well done, Max. That's 7 in a row. Very impressive. Well done, mate.
Yeah, let's keep it going. That's definitely very good.
You could hear the
anticlimactic expression in Max's voice again.
Well, it was long yesterday, so today slightly different.
Well, 2 days and 2 kind of underwhelming pole positions for him, but it's pole position nonetheless. The track must have just dropped away slightly. I wonder if the wind picked up. I'm looking at the commentary box, the palm trees are continuing this way, but no one is able to improve.
So yeah, that's right. Max Verstappen on pole position ahead of the 2 Ferraris of Leclerc and Sainz. Perez 4th. Then on the 3rd row, it's Norris and Piastri. Then behind them, it's the 2 Mercedes of Hamilton and Russell. And then, of course, it's once again on the 5th row, it's Hulkenberg and Tsunoda. And behind those two will be, of course, the likes of Ocon, Gasly, the 2 Aston Martins of Alonso and Stroll. 15th will be Alonso. 16th will be Logan Sargeant alongside his Williams teammate. 17th will be Kevin Magnussen of Haas. 18th, Daniel Ricciardo in the RB with a 3-place grid penalty, leaving him knocked out in Q1 due to, of course, the penalty applying immediately. And on the back row, it will be the 2 Saubers of Bottas and his teammate Zhou in what has been a terrible weekend so far for the Sauber boys. And it has to be said, well, as we know, Sauber, Alpine, and of course Williams are still looking for their first points of 2024. It's business as usual for Max Verstappen. No, sorry, I don't have another device where I can do that. But of course, you've got me with my lovely face to tell you that Max Verstappen has made it 6 pole positions out of 6 pole positions. Honest to goodness me, that Red Bull is just insanely dominant. Like, if there was no doubt about how fast that Red Bull was last year, well, goodness me. I mean, 6 pole positions to tell you everything about how quick that Red Bull was. Even when Max Verstappen is feeling deflated and somewhat underwhelmed by whether his pole position was that particularly dominant or quick, well, it's good enough for him to keep getting pole positions ahead of Ferrari consistently enough. Like, you know, Leclerc, he's an expert qualifier, but yet he's not even had a sniff of a pole position this year. Like that, I think Leclerc's now got, 18 career pole positions, but I think Max Verstappen is now beginning to pull away from him in the career pole position rankings. And when it... right, Man United didn't play well. Well, of course you're going to have a good day. But anyway, yeah.
Yesterday, you were surprised in qualifying to get the pole based on how
It's James Sinclair doing interviews.
It looks pretty hooked up.
Yeah, I think we definitely improved the car a bit, but I don't know what it is. Every single year that we come here, I find it extremely difficult to be very consistent with the car feeling, the tire feeling over one lap. It's just super hard to make sure that, let's say, sector 1 feels good and sector 3 at the end of the lap. To make that like happen together it's incredibly tough. And again, today, it was really about finding that balance. I think we did okay. I mean, it's not, let's say, the most enjoyable lap out of my career just because of how slippery it is and how, like, you're not very confident on the lap. But we are on pole, and that's, of course, the most important.
You controlled the sprint race from the front, had a decent gap at the finish, but you even said maybe not the best car. Do you think you've improved it in race trim as well?
It definitely feels a little bit more under control, which I was looking for. So hopefully that will help us out tomorrow, but we'll find out.
Start obviously super key here. Charles got a pretty good launch. Have you looked at the start from the sprint race? Do you going to change anything for tomorrow?
Yeah, I think we know what we did wrong, what I did wrong as well. So I'm sure that if I do my things correctly and we're just very good with what we do with what we have been doing in the last few starts, then normally it should be all right.
All right, well, congratulations. Best of luck. Charles, P2, another front row start this weekend. Same front row as we saw in the sprint race, but the car looked on the absolute ragged edge out there. How did it feel from behind the cockpit? Did you leave anything on the table?
I felt so much on the limit. Obviously, it was very close until Q3, where when we started to push for the last 1 or 2 tenths, we started to lose the tires in sector 2 and 3, overheating them quite a bit. Sector 1 was actually feeling really good, but then sector 2 and 3 we were losing too much. So today that's where we lost a little bit of time. However, the race is long tomorrow. This morning we showed a good pace, so I hope tomorrow we can put Max under a bit more pressure.
You had a great start this morning in the sprint race, got alongside him, nearly got that position in the first turn. Is that, you think, your best opportunity to try to get in front off the start and really control the pace from there?
Yeah, this and keeping the DRS if we don't get past by turn 1. DRS is super powerful here, and if we lose it after the first lap, then it's always difficult to come back within DRS. So we must not lose it. And but first of all, there will be the start. This morning we had a good one, and tomorrow I'll try to have an even better one.
All right, best of luck tomorrow. Congratulations on another front row start for Ferrari here in Miami. Third place teammate Carlos Sainz walks up to the cheers of the crowd. Carlos, congrats. Inside of row 2. Decent step up from sprint qualifying. How'd the car feel out there?
Yeah, honestly, a bit of a shame about this morning. Couldn't get past Daniel, but I know that the pace was there. I knew that with a clean quali, I could be in the top 3, and yeah, we managed to do some clean laps. It's really tricky around here with the new soft. Every lap is a bit of an adventure with the wind. You don't know what's going to happen, and keeping all this in mind, the laps were not too bad.
You say the wind is an issue here. Also the temperature. It's very hot out there. Are you guys concerned at all about tomorrow from inside the cockpit and also from just taking care of the tires?
Yeah, it's just you always finish the lap and you feel like you could have gone so much faster having a cleaner lap. But it's almost impossible to put a perfect clean lap around here. There's always one place where you slide, one place where you overheat the tire, one place where the wind hits you different and you start struggling. So it's a very tricky balance, very tricky car. Track to drive, and yeah, that's why being P3 clean side of the road for tomorrow might be a good place to start.
Just real quick, the fans here in Miami, big cheers as you walked up here. What's it like racing in front of this crowd?
Yeah, it's amazing. Like always in Miami, really. Every time we come, every year, the fans are really, really good energy. They give us good vibes, and yeah, we enjoy coming here a lot.
All right, well, congrats on P3 and best of luck in the Grand Prix tomorrow.
That was former IndyCar driver James Hinchcliffe asking the questions to your top 3. Let's just recap the top 5 then for tomorrow's Miami Grand Prix. It's Max Verstappen on pole position. He'll line up alongside Charles Leclerc in the Ferrari. Carlos Sainz in the second Ferrari lines up P3 alongside Sergio Perez in the Red Bull. And Lando Norris, a disappointing session for him. P5 for the McLaren driver with a fully upgraded car. What can he do tomorrow? My thanks to the commentator Harry Benjamin, Joey and Palmer, and the BBC F1 correspondent Andrew Benson.
Okay, fairly amusing conversation there between you and Silverback and Rooksford, but, well, looks like my poll was wrong. Leclerc got P2, not Carlos Sainz, sorry. But, in a few minutes' time, I will be doing a quick watch-along of the sprint race since I've not actually watched it. Timing screen shows both Mercedes on mediums in Q3. Oh, wow. They did their qualifying laps on mediums. That's pretty worrying. You don't need to apologize, Silverback, but let's hope the Ferraris have got something up their sleeve because, after Australia, it looked like the championship was close, but of course, with Max Verstappen winning in both Japan and China, yeah, with how fast this car is, and with Max back on form again, I mean, this is very much threatening to be another runaway championship win for Max, so as much as I don't want to sit there and say I don't want to see Max win, I do kind of hope that, Max Verstappen has to deal with some sort of problem tomorrow so he doesn't just ease to another comfortable race win because, like, no one really looks like they can really keep up with Max and Red Bull right now. If Ferrari comes in second and fourth this weekend, I'll be very happy. Well, I suppose, but, I would like to see someone else win. Look, for those Max Verstappen fans watching this, I'm not saying that I don't want to see Max win or lose the championship, but it is getting a bit stale right now with Formula One since we don't have any like outstanding rookie drivers on the grid. We don't have any particularly compelling narratives right now on track, at least. Yes, I know there's a lot of rumors and gossip off the track, but on track, it's all got a bit stale. So thank you for watching, and I think it is time for me to end the stream. Of course, you know, yeah, I agree with you, Rooksford. I want to see Max pushed or challenged in some way. That's what I'm saying. I'm just saying that I want to see a bit of competition with Max Verstappen, but in about 5 minutes' time-ish, I'm going to load up the sprint qualifying, the sprint race watch-along, and yeah, I'll see you guys in a few minutes' time.